I didn't start my yoga journey in the most conventional of ways. Back in the 90s, really starting the journey with meditation and then learning about scriptural study. But in 2000, I was at my local yoga studio. There were only very few in Melbourne at the time. And I saw on the reception desk a sign saying there was an open evening for teacher training, and the first year being certificate of yoga philosophy. And I didn't have any desire to pursue the full 2-year training. It was nearly 1,500 hours over that 2-year period, but I felt really called. There was something that really awakened a curiosity in me that wanted to learn more. And you could just do this first year without doing the diploma of teacher training that followed. And so I went along and I just felt this really deep sense of wanting to explore these texts even more. And for that year, in 2001 to 2, I explored the traditional yogic texts, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, and not just about these texts from the yogi's point of view, but also how they could apply to our own lives. And whilst we were undertaking that philosophy course, we also were able to practice at the same time and have so many hours of practice per week. And always on the days when I would be in the shala would be the days that I felt most at ease. I had anxiety at the time. I'd not long left London to be here permanently. And I was trying lots of different ways to manage it. And the only thing that seemed to manage that for me was a practice. I always slept better. I just felt clearer, felt calmer, had this deep sense of faith and trust that whatever would unfold would unfold. And as a result of that, I felt at the end of that year so changed. And bearing in mind this is back in 2001, to be able to live this life and to be able to have this as your vocation was really almost unheard of. There weren't enough yoga studios to be able to work enough to be able to have an income. And really, that's not what you did back then. It was often known that you taught yoga on the side, but you had a proper job that you did full time. And I remember asking my teacher at the time, is this even possible? Is it possible to be able to teach full time? And I just felt this deep calling to share what I had learned with other people. I felt like I wanted to share the techniques that I had learned because how they had supported me in the management of anxiety. Because if anyone who has anxiety, you'll know that it doesn't necessarily go away. You actually learn strategy, techniques, you resource in order to hold the space for it as it moves through. And I felt that deep calling that I wished other people knew that these teachings existed. And it doesn't work for everybody, and I appreciate that, but it certainly worked for me. And that's what inspired me to be able to pursue my next second year of study. And that's really why now, 23 years later, we've opened up that opportunity for students who also feel that curiosity to want to learn more about yoga, to dive in more, practice more, establish more consistency, carve out more time to learn and practice, that we've opened up our training for students who would just love to learn more about this practice and perhaps, like me back then, aren't necessarily called to teach, may want to bring these teachings into their own lives, their families, their current space of employment, their career paths, and just want to bring this to life. It might be that you feel that you want to commit some time this year just for you, just some time to explore something that you love. And it reminds me of the sutra of Patanjali 1.12, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tanirodha. We practice in order to be able to have no attachment to the outcome of what that means. We're not practicing to get anywhere, to get something. We're practicing for the love of the practice. And so I hope this inspires you. I feel even more inspired to keep learning, reading, practicing, exploring, being taught, first and foremost, above and beyond what I share at Moksha. I am a student of this practice first and foremost. I always will be. And that inspiration continues to keep drawing me and guiding me forwards to keep expanding my own practice and theory of this extraordinary world that falls under the umbrella of yoga. I hope you'll join me on this incredible journey in one way, shape, or form. Namaste.